how to start homeschooling. Now, probably the most liberating thing is to experiment. What do I mean by that? I don't know why so many ladies are afraid of experimenting. Once you take your child off the school to see if homeschooling works for you or not, this is not the end of the world. You can put them back in. So experiment with it. Start slow, start from the holidays, make a plan on the holidays and experiment homeschooling. And if you see that, okay, it's been mostly good, okay, we've gained a lot, okay, how can we extend? So then you can talk to the school. I mean, even if you don't talk to the school, what I did is literally, when I decided to pull my child out of the school, I knew that this was not working for him. I wrote to the teacher and I said, I've decided to homeschool my child, so they will not be coming from Monday, which is the next school day after the weekend. And I took them out. There's nothing anybody can do. The maximum a school can do is to say that, okay, I understand you want to homeschool, but we might not have space for them later on. But in my situation, they didn't say that to me. What they said that to me is they said, okay, we will hold the space for you for 1 month. You can see if it works for you. If it didn't work for you, bring them back in. No procedures needed. But if you decided to continue with it, then we will let the council know, so the council can scrape you off the list. So this is in UK, right? I don't know the system in America. The council can, remove your child from the school system, so then you can start homeschooling them. Now, after 1 month, I was still going strong. I was like, okay, I want to homeschool. So that the council got involved and they gave me 15 days, after which I had an interview with the council. And this could happen either by the council people coming to your house and assessing that in which your child is going to be learning in, or it could happen online. So with me, it did happen online. So they interviewed me. They asked all sorts of questions, and actually they did send those questions to me beforehand so I could prepare for them. They asked me all sorts of questions like, what curriculum would I be using? And I told them I'm not going to be using any curriculum. I will be, doing a child-led education where I would be following their interests, because they're too young to be following any strict curriculum for now. I'm not really bothered about the curriculum. I'm more concerned about their interests and catering to that and going at their flow. And so they wanted to know if I'm going to keep them at home in a very controlling environment, or do I actually plan to expose them to the world and give them real skills. So I told them that I will be taking him out all the time. I will be taking him to the parks, to the events. I will be taking them out to library. Alhamdulillah, the library system here is really good. It's all free. You can loan 8 books at a time. And then you can return them whenever, and you can get more books. So then it's really good, mashallah. I love the library system over here. And so I assured them I would be taking to the library all the time. I would pay more attention in giving them faith-based education. Also, I would be making sure that they learn to read and write, so that kind of thing. So I just told them my plan. I shared my plans with them, and they were very open about it. And then the lady called my son. And I was not prepared for this segment. She interviewed my son as well on the screen, right in front of me. So she asked my child, she said, do you like homeschooled or do you like to go to school? So by that time, the child had already been home for more than a month. And the child is now thinking about his friends, the ones that I'm trying to separate him from. So he told her that I want to go to school. Can you imagine my embarrassment? And I was telling her, oh, my child is thriving in home environment and they love it. But he said, I want to go to school. But alhamdulillah, they were reasonable about it. She asked me, did you know your child felt that way? And I said, no, I didn't know that they felt that way. But this is not something that is completely out of question for me. I'm not making the decisions here based on what I want, rather what's best for my child. So it's something he really feels strongly about. I'm open to consider it. And I just said that so they will see that I'm not a rigid parent who is not concerned about my child's well-being, and I'm forcing my child to do things that they don't want to do. So alhamdulillah, they sent me the report afterwards, a report of the meeting, and they told me that I did exceedingly well. I've met their expectations and more in terms of how equipped I am to homeschool. But alhamdulillah, I was officially a homeschooler that way. Alhamdulillah, it was a very smooth process for me. But it is equally easy to put your kids back in if it didn't work out for you. You might not be able to get into your preferred school afterwards because there might not be spaces, but if there are spaces, then you will be able to get in. So don't be scared. Don't be scared to experiment. Give yourself a trial period. Why not? So this is the best thing I could tell you to do is, if you're hesitating whether to homeschool or not, nothing is definite. a judgment or a sentence. Okay, if you decided to homeschool, you have to do it for the rest of your life. Or if you decided to send to school, you have to do it for the rest of your life. No, none of these are like final decisions. You can change your decision anytime you want. Okay, so that's one thing. Does that make you feel better? You can experiment. And then have a general plan. Many of you feel overwhelmed to start. Okay, how do I start? No, I have a general plan. Okay, what are the things that you feel strongly about? Children before the age of 7 is what I feel is that they don't really need a very strict curriculum. Their education should be more focused on learning skills to manage their emotions, learning skills to navigate the day-to-day life, learning all sorts of skills, on values, and on what kind of person they are as a human being. So incorporating kindness and empathy. So the early education should heavily be focused on building them as a person, building their personality, building their confidence, making them feel good about themselves, making them like themselves, making them curious, making them fall in love with learning. This is what it is all about in early education. And inshallah, the first thing you're going to focus on is teaching them to read. Foster the love of reading by reading them loads of books. Once they fall in love with books, they're going to want to read. They're going to want to learn to read, because then they get to read loads of books, right? So read loads of books. Take them to places. The diversity, the diverse experiences, the exposure is extremely important in the early education. Really, really important. Because then later on, inshallah, whether they're in school or whether they are home educating, with time, inshallah, you see that the children are growing more and more independent. So they are taking more of their education in their own hands with time, inshallah. If you've done things right in their early years, for example, if you have put the accountability in them, if you have put the sense of the love of learning in them, then you will see that with time, they are going to take more of their education in their own hands. Like they are going to become more and more independent with time. So the early years, just like really focus on building skills, on building confidence, and building self-reliance more. Some mothers do this, they're guilty of, they want their child to excel in learning. They teach them a lot, like the whole time they're teaching them, like if the child is doing workbook, the mother is sitting there with him and reading the question for him. And then, if you're too involved in their learning, it might take a back seat. You don't want to do that. You want to foster the reliance, the self-reliance in them. And for that, you have to tolerate a lot of mistakes. And the mistakes should be okay. Mistakes should be allowed. Have a general plan, and it's okay to take time figuring it out. What's not okay is to keep figuring it out for years and years while your child is homeschooling. If you take years and years to figure out, then meanwhile, your child is just, lagging behind and still struggling and not thriving. That's not okay. So be attuned, actively teaching, and don't be negligent. You need to foster the environment of like asking questions, exploring textures, having meaningful conversations, building vocabulary, introducing real life skills. This is the reality check. If you homeschool without structure, without a plan, and without a support, you will look back and realize the only thing that was holding your child back was you. What does intentional homeschooling look like? So we've already talked about some things like teaching them to be self-reliant, but also there are other things like you need to build your cultural capital, expose them to different cultures, and especially your culture, your own culture. Expose them to your cultures, give them a sense of belonging, where they belong, give them a taste of that, foster their relationship with the grandparents, with their family, expose them to different experiences, expose them to mentors, groups, real-world feedback, where they are able to get. What does real world feedback means is that, they might get say something and maybe other people don't like it. So that is a real world feedback. So then they will know, okay, this is not working. And they might feel bad for a bit, but that's okay. That's all part of it. Then they might come up with another idea and they share it with their friends and they like it. So that's the real world feedback. So give them opportunities to feel the real world feedback. To build resilience and strengthen them. Read daily. This is a must. Read stories daily because that's the brain food. And invest in a curriculum. Try and get a good curriculum, invest in it, and commit to it. Because almost every curriculum would work if you stick to it, inshallah. So stop switching, every few months. Give your child stability and keep learning yourself. A growing teacher raises growing children. Focus on building lifelong skills and outsource when needed, like co-ops, online programs. Now, here's one question that comes to mind, right? Like, this is one thing that never happened for you, and that is the self-doubt and the parental guilt. It is okay to doubt yourself along the way, and it's okay to feel very guilty whether you're doing what's right or not, because that is your nafs al-lawwama. Nafs al-lawwama is there to keep making you feel guilty and keep making you feel like you're lacking in something. What does lawwama mean? It keeps criticizing you, right? That is your nafs al-lawwama. Everybody is born with it. Its job is to push you to do better. So accept your nafs al-lawwama. It's going to be there, and it's just trying to make you be better. So I've heard this from people who homeschool for 20 years, that you never really figure it out completely, that you might never achieve certainty that this is the absolute right thing and this is the absolute best. So you might always have self-doubts, and that's fine, that's part of it.